speaking as an American Indian and from the lens of Indigenous knowledge and wisdom, Solstice Unites is the acknowledgement and the celebration of cross-cultural and intergenerational remembering and reawakening to the natural order laws that govern all of us equally. People can choose to enliven themselves by participating in a joyful and inclusive experience.
Beautiful, beautiful. How can indigenous wisdom and ceremony help restore balance between humanity and Mother Earth?
Again, my careful wording here to convey the authenticity of sharing traditional oral tradition, treasure knowledge. Indigenous wisdom that I know that people are seeking in these times, in these crisis times, and ceremonial healing practices and processes teach people how to deconstruct, dismantle, cleanse, and purify the root causes of all out of balance conditions that people keep trapped and entrenched in perpetuating, polarizing into adversary conflict and warfare, which is the violence and suffering that I have devoted my life to alleviate and be a way shower to peace making and peace building.
Beautiful, beautiful. Patricia, I want you to look at where the camera is on your computer. See if you can find the spot like a green light that's on. Do you see a green light there on the computer where the
Yeah, it's up on top, but when it's up on top, then I can't read this.
got it, got it, got it. Okay, okay,
Well, okay,
it's great,
okay,
it's great, it's great. All right, I'm going to
okay.
ask
How
you
about
the next question.
okay? What about now?
No, that's good. That's good. That's good.
If you had told me that from the beginning,
I
I
only
would.
realized it. I only realized it a minute ago, but it's good. It's still good. Believe me, you're very clear. I'm going to ask you the third question. What does it mean to come together in a powwow with people from all cultures and backgrounds?
This is a exciting and beautiful and wonderful opportunity to experience the purpose of a powwow because it is social medicine, dancing together, singing together, chanting to the drum. We're echoing the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And then there is gifting, there's making relations, there's making friendships within a sacred circle setting. This is what is key to a cross-cultural and to an intergenerational healthy helping teamwork for uniting humanity and restoring our Mother Earth home because it is our habitat, it is our sanctuary, and we must nurture and take care of her and protect her. And we do this by focusing on our own wellness restoration that includes teaching others how to bring us together in a common intention.
Beautiful. So, what do you hope people will experience or carry with them after being part of Solstice Unites?
In, in this one event space, people can become peaceful and loving toward each other And we do together in one circle, one geographical setting, with all the generations present. That is what is so unique with the drumming and the singing and sharing a meal, sharing food, and meeting new friends, seeing old friends, and bringing that joy to ourselves and others in this one circle, sacred circle space.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. So we made it through the questions.
There's number 4.
I thought I read number 4. What do you hope people will experience or carry with them after being part of Solstice Unites? That's what I had as 4.
I see.
But say more. What do you think?
I could say that I hope, my hope and intention is that people will be inspired and motivated to remember, to reawaken, and to initiate their own cultural practices from their own lineage that do contribute to unifying, intending to unify families, unify communities and our society, and also especially governing systems to eliminate the divisiveness and the adversary and the conflict and the suffering. I hope, I trust that people will learn how to befriend people instead of perpetuating enemy creation and blame and the destruction of humanity and the natural environment and putting the planet we call Mother Earth in peril. Think about that. Mother Earth is our home, and we cannot be in peril. We must be awakened to take care of her. And so it is practicing, it is participating in uplifting each other in a heartwarming event.
Perfect. Oh my God, that was so good. It's like music. It's really like listening to Charlie Parker or John Coltrane.
It is the symphony that echoes through the universe through that ceremonial drum.
Mm.
It is the rhythm of life and the rhythm of our own body of earth, water, fire, air existing in the environmental earth, water, fire, and air that is the frequency and the resonance that is uniting us.
Mm. May it be so. May it be so. That is accessible to us now more than ever.
So grateful for that. Yes. I came into this arena, this particular sacred self, sacred self. I'm talking about our sacred self in our sacred place in the sacred circle, in public setting about age 15. And so that's about 60 years of benefiting by the blessings of what I have just mentioned in terms of social medicine for everyone.
Yeah. Well, there's now the course available to them as well. So the spark that awakens can lead to a path for their learning and healing and coming together. That's what we build in one world. And that's why for me this event is so timely, and a wise response to collapse is the renewal. And returning to the sacred rhythms of Mother Earth.
Mm-hmm. And bringing that into a format on the internet and calling a ceremony a course. It is the ceremony itself is um, the course, and the course itself is the ceremony. It is how to, and that's because I have mentioned to you and so many other people so many times that, especially to children who are near and dear to me, when they are in a state of feeling not not belonging and not nurtured and
Mm,
not encouraged enough, that it is true that it is sad that we have not been told. No one told us these beautiful, inspiring, and motivating words that we could feel that and embody that and carry that forward to the next generation. And so, putting that into the mass media and putting that into the internet, which is an energy field of it's electronics, but it's also interconnected and interrelated into the web of life and the etheric network. And that's what Sanskrit calls Akash,
mm,
and or Akashic record. And in Navajo ceremonial language, we call Denehbazad, the sacred language and words of holy people. The simple word is Ina, which
mm,
conveys life itself.
mm,
And of course, that's the in breath and out breath of perfect peace and love of Creator, that we are in balance and harmony and
mm.
making a sound and moving around, and just elevate that, enhance that to the powwow setting, so that the interconnection is through technology in all forms, and also in our physical presence together. It's one sacred circle in the oneness of Hojo. It's all encompassing. And so that's why it resonates to people that may not have experienced it, but they will feel this energy, vibration resonance in their own body and their own brain synapse, in terms of our five senses that we use for its appropriate function.
Wow. Excellent. My gosh. I can't wait to turn these into now clips that we can make available to help clarify for people. And thank you again, Patricia. This has been awesome. This is exactly what I was hoping for. And is there anything else you want to say?
Well, I think powwow, in terms of the male life task identity as a protector provider of the female life task as a life giver and nurturer, then I have previously, and we are now using the acronym powwow to convey the protector provider of the wise women of the world, going forward in abundant and plenitude and a peaceful life and world. That's what is the meaning of the ceremony to remember and reawaken, is called Hojonge, literally, truthfully, emphatically, is living the loving way as a way of life. That's the meaning of humane beings. The essence and substance of love in the whole universe, within us and around us.
Mm. Wow, it just feels so right. Just feels so right. Feels like home.
We are at home. Nahasan Hima is our home, and we must unite to take care of our Earth Mother home.
Mm.
And we're learning, and we're teaching the how to engage other people in such a way that they would enthusiastically embrace what is being presented and enthusiastically participate and also share and teach others and do their part as we're doing our part.
Yeah, that's the invitation. That's the call to play. And everybody's welcome. Every voice matters. All right. Unless there's anything you want to say, you said some amazing things. It's better than I hoped it would be. Sometimes it's just the right time.
Of course, there's a lot to say. There's so much to say, and yet I have conveyed the purpose and the intent, and how magnificent and how beautiful, how profound. These are not just words, they're actions. And they're actions to listen carefully to what these words convey, the authenticity of our intention will come to fruition. It will come to manifestation. And that is why I have so much gratitude for this opportunity to be visible, to educate, to inspire, to also to motivate, and choosing carefully my words, what English words and convey from the sacred language, ceremonial language words that will touch people's heart in a heartwarming message, because we have been through and we are experiencing heart-wrenching news and information. And so we must take that energy and repurpose it for the goodwill toward ourself and others, and that is originating from the will to love. And we talk about love, and yet we must see beauty within ourselves, and beauty within others, and beauty within our Earth Mother home, and in the cosmos, and the universe, and the galaxy. We're all in this grand journey together, and each of us will return home to Creator individually, and there's no separation in time and space in the spiritual realm. So we remain together in our eternal life, which is through the earth, water, fire, and air. Yeah. That is the friendship dance. That is the We're calling it a round dance, a friendship dance. We can see that as a simple, that there is no real ending in death, that the earth element is returning, the water element is returning, and the fire element is returning, and then the air is returning. In breath at birth, out breath at transition. So what we're doing is the same. We are transcending and transmuting everything that we call and consider negative and destructive. We are transcending that and refashioning all of the weaponry into, and a good example is people who are melting guns to make shovels to farm, to make food. That's really the basic level that I'm speaking at, even though the words I'm using are esoteric and spiritual words. It's a very practical, everyday decision to teach our next generation and our families, our loved ones, our friends. How do we have a conversation? What do we do every day to speak and make decision that we use our inherent genius gift as a way shower, as a spark of divinity? How do we convey that to others while we are simultaneously going through a deep healing within ourselves? The deconstruction and the reconstruction is happening in this very moment, simultaneously, synchronistically, and synergistically. And so we must understand that unifying is a way to heal, because either or is where we get trapped in, entrenched in pitting ourselves one against the other. And the powwow is a great undoing, deconstructing, dismantling of that type of harmful divisiveness. So it's very valuable to understand the purpose and meaning. And while we're saying it is an American Indian tribal event, remember our friends and relatives and people have their ethnic cultural practices with food and singing and dancing and chanting and so on, and drumming. So how do we bring that into contemporary life, in which then we can teach our young people, children and grandchildren? And I'm going to use the next 7 generations, not the 7th generation, not the 7th generation, but the next 7 generations as an ongoing way of calling it exponential, that we give and receive this energy as spiritual food, feeding each other spiritual food, which we're doing right now in the moment on this very valuable mass media for mass healing. It's a tool. It's a tool.
Yeah, no, it is a tool. And you know what Summer and I have done, thanks to you, we call them harmony huddles.
Mm-hmm.
And they begin with getting grounded in the way you shared with us by the directions. To the east, affirming balance in living.
Mm-hmm.
And to the south, affirming harmony in communication.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can just feel it. And then to the west, affirming peace in the family. And I swear we've had more good energy with our family
Mhm.
since we started doing these harmony huddles, including these groundings. And then
Mhm.
to the north, affirming beauty in the environment.
Mhm.
Then the closing above and below Father Sky, Mother Earth, affirming joy within my heart, hearth, and home.
Yes.
That has
And
brought
so, yes.
us.
So I'll briefly say that. And this is the directions it's going in for. And just European American people and Western people always do three because they're conditioned to the Trinity. But there are four seasons and there are four directions. So in the tribal indigenous language, we're speaking in from east, south, west, and north, sunwise, and everything flows accordingly from there. So ha asha the ah e ah nahokos, east, south, west, and north. Ah shabik eho, sunwise. Then eholzen do insahakes. Very simply, holy thinking and clear and congruent thinking. I could repeat that. Eholzen do alila insahakes. I added and the miracle power of our holy thinking and clear and congruent thinking for co-creative situational leadership with our genius gift to the east and south teaching. It's the teaching that was actually placed for the day for the time and direction on Mother Earth, which is Nahat Batzil. So we're going to have our clear and congruent thinking for strong planning to the south. The south, that's the teaching place there. To the west, the teaching is placed there in the evening for ceremony and oral tradition. Hojojic ina, the teaching of social medicine, social competence, and coherence for our interrelated and interconnectedness and celebration of family and home. And then at midnight to the north, that's midnight. Sahasan is reverence for ourselves and reverence for the environment. Very simple every day and throughout one's whole life. And so those are what we're experiencing already every day, anywhere in any land and any language, because midnight is sleep and rest, and we begin again and renew every sunrise. That's the natural order law that governs us all equally. That's how simple it is. And when I say to the young people, life is yes or no, actually the choice is already made for us. As I've already described, we're existing within this complete holiness and wholeness, but we are the ones that actually have to say yes to embrace it and embody it and initiate it and manifest it to serve in the world and not to continue to deny and be defiant in our denial, because we're at a time where we've already been told the original instructions, and we have listened and we have heard, and now we are in the process of bringing this to fruition and manifestation through this wonderful event we're calling um, the powwow, which is for all people. They are all included. We're all included And we are conveying that in every possible way
Right.
to get that across so that we don't have um, what I'm going to say is people feel that they're excluded for some reason.
Mhm.
We all need this nurturing and we all need this encouraging and this social medicine, spiritual food.
Yeah. Yeah. And the vision is twice yearly on the solstice, a global powwow. And Solstice Unites is the overarching frame, but it's that twice yearly, that's that life, the arc that you talk about, arc of light, arc of darkness, and the way that the planet is synergizing and into
Mhm.
these sacred rhythms to enable us to have a global powwow twice a year on
Yeah.
solstice. This is part of the putting the foundation back in place for so many of us, remembering these sacred rhythms here on Mother Earth is new, even though it's the natural order and you can hear it and feel it when you say it. That's why it's so meaningful to have your words and for people to be able to hear it so they can experience it.
Well, we can all, every person can access it through our intuition. And so we have to be careful to focus on self-reflection and take care that we're not trapped and entrenched. I've used that word several times to stay focused, not to get hooked into and engage in, uh, and especially to internalize something that's not our intention. It's someone else's intention for which they're accountable for. We're totally accountable for our attention, our intention, and our attention to to that for making decisions for the greatest good for the greatest number of people.
Hmm. Sounds like a compassion game to me. Sounds like the ultimate compassion game is living
Totally,
way as a way of life.
totally empathy and compassion.
Hmm.
That is the missing key, but it is the key in which we are saying um, possibility is the potential, but the
Hmm.
possibility and the potential is that we're already existing in it. So this use this intention for what it's for.
Yep. Yep. Well, I promise I'm going to keep evolving my own potential to be more aware and more present to that choice here in this moment. And that's why I say again, thank you, Patricia. You are so clear and such a gift to a world so hungry to figure out what do we do? Where do we go? And hear the how to all these years saying, here's the how to, here's the how to.
Mhm.
Well, the helpers are coming. And
And I witnessed and participated in ceremonies since birth through my whole life to this day, and therefore must always extend my gratitude to both of my mother and my late father. He gave me this task. I had to figure it out along the way and wait for the helpers. And thank you, helpers have arrived and are arriving in large numbers and larger numbers. And so he just simply said to me when I was 8 years old, taking me through an initiation process to uh, carry forward these ceremonial healing practice and processes that he was taught. And he simply said, in his own words, undo the thinking that caused our people so much violence and suffering.
Mm. Boy, to have that here. Thank you so much. And that's ours to do.
It's beautiful, it's profound, and it's been doable through oral tradition for hundreds and thousands of years, because the natural order law that we exist in is that's what works.
Yeah. It's like gravity. It doesn't care if you don't like it. It really just
Or
doesn't.
if you don't believe in it,
Don't believe in it. That's
we
right.
just we trust wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And that's why it's often the obvious that isn't obvious until there's a pause and a chance to wait a minute. Let's get real. So, wow.
Yes, this is what word that we're calling real. When I say truth is the only real power,
Mm,
and it is our protection, truth is our protection. That's real
right. Right.
in the natural order law. There's no religion or philosophy or theory. There's no maybe. The way it is the way it is. It's just we are I am that I am is another way to say that. That's from metaphysics. And how do we convey that in such a way that people are not alienated or resistant or intimidated by these beautiful words, but rather wake awaken to knowing more, to exploring more, to make an inquiry and being honest with themselves and saying, that's what I'm looking for.
Mm,
That's what my children need. That's what I need. I will participate in such a way that will benefit myself and everyone. And the key is everyone equally.
right. Right. Well, Ben Bowler, when I was in conversation with him and your words were spoken through me, by me, Ben said we got to do World Unity Week as theme of truth, beauty, and goodness. And you would say what's good, beautiful, and true. And he said back to me, truth, beauty, and goodness. And that's where the theme for World Unity Week came from. And I mean, he loves to acknowledge that. So that's more evidence for me of the resonance and the recognition, especially in a post truth world where people are so confused. We're all confused about what to believe and who to trust and how information's been used. And truth has been uh, put on trial. And yet, that part that each of us knows what's true. It's beautiful to see that contrast. It reminds you.
Our very greeting itself, that's where it comes from, affirming that. I say that to every audience. Ya'at and ya'at ego. The word it's coming from yadilhil, which is conveying that everything in the universe is good, beautiful, and true. That's good for us. And the last part, ya'at that's all I speak. That's our very greeting. We begin by shaking hands with a person. We're not using our fists, shaking our fists at someone or raising our fists either. When I say us, I'm just referring to those of us who want to say that we're peacemaking and peace building and want to convey that because body language itself is 99% communication. So that's what is congruent. Our thinking, our speaking, and our actions, and then our decision making, so that the world resources are the distribution of world resources must be equally distributed, and then we can only do that when we are coming from this place within. And I recently began using the English word to convey what I'm saying as equanimity that is within us. And only from this place of equanimity can we make decisions for equal distribution of world resources, that we can be this leverage point, this change that makes a mega change. That's the power we have with our thinking and our speech. And when I say using our thinking and our intention and our speaking and our decision making for its appropriate function, I also warn people, stop, enough. The criminal mind is using our thinking for what it is not for. And then why would we want to destroy ourselves and our home and each other when that's not even built within us? Because life itself is how we're alive, making a sound, moving around. That's life itself, and it's procreated through the generations that we may all transcend and transmute together. That's what a powwow is celebrating, that life to give life in a circle of life in which we're not sacrificing ourselves or others. We're serving, we're gifting, we're befriending. And this is in all tribal indigenous languages. And I'm defining and I'm describing and I'm illustrating. And while I'm also using personal example, that's the most challenging, because I'm not exempt from the impact and being affected by what we are all having to deal with right now in the global crisis level. That's why it is now that we come forward in such a way and make that time and make that space. Because my experience with powwow before competition was old people or young people or anyone getting up and emptying and crying and speaking and saying, I'm going through this. This is what happened. This is what's going on in my life. And then they would bring that person into the circle and they would sing an honor song, and people would come up and dance with the person. And then they would put shawl on their shoulder for someone to come and take off their shoulder, and the giving and receiving. And so that was the healing. And that was not to uh, blame and confront and to argue. That was to show the empathy and the compassion. And that's what I was a part of and witnesses from 15, 16, all the way through the 20 years that I spent with the Quanah Parker Comanche family and being a head woman dancer at their reunion and being honored in such a way, in my own initiation to the gourd dance in Walters, Oklahoma in 1966, where they put gifts on the ground, and I'm dancing by myself so that people could come and pick up those gifts of what they wanted or what they needed. And there was no that was what we would call being in our sacred place in the universe, because there was no, that was not considered, quote, charity. That was, or the poor, giving to the poor. It was honor in the giving and receiving, of making sure people who had more gave to people who were in need, and we could all have dignity in the process and celebrate together. And those are some very precious moments in my lifetime of what I witnessed, of what a purpose and intention of powwow is. And there was no shame in giving and receiving a gift, or even crying and saying, I'm experiencing this, and this is what happened, because that's what goes on in a ceremony. It goes on all night. It's the first thing that people do, is name what is out of balance and identify the root cause and talk it out and cry it out in the ceremony. And then there are ceremonies in which to dance it out, sing it out, chant it out, drum it out, even purge it out, vomit, sweat in the sweat lodge, even throw up herbs, and ways in which then there is the release of all the toxins that we stuff in our body. And then those sicknesses over time become the medically diagnosed diseases. And then they have to take prescription drugs for them, which then are how do I say this in a diplomatic way? It can mask something. It can help to a certain point, but the real need is to empty, to cry and talk something out, and to say, this is what's happening, this is what happened, in a setting that allows people to a safe and supportive, where there is no judgment and there's no punishment and there's no condemnation, because one person's issues trigger another person's issues, and they came to help one person or one family, and they in turn got help, and they go home and help their family, and everyone got help, and everyone could cry together and experience this in a group social medicine setting. And there are many, many ways. I'm just giving some examples of that.
That is treasured. Wow. Those memories, those experiences, what you witnessed. So many will come to curious to understand powwow.
And also when people make sound, when they go and say, when they do that really loud, or the men make sound. I'm not going to make any men's sounds when they do that at the drum and whatever. Please, that's not Hollywood. That's not a war cry. We only have protection ceremonies. That's another whole topic to understand that when there is a death or when there is tragic things happen, there's a way to speak to Creator directly and correct that and not take revenge and keep repeating the same, because it's equally addictive revenge as alcohol and other drugs, equally addictive. And so there has to be some making a way, and ceremony and powwow always makes a way that we don't trap ourselves and then get entrenched. And then we believe there's no solution, but that's not true. So we're out here in Central Park in the open air, in a public space, inclusive and inviting to come and celebrate and be joyful. And a healthy helping teamwork.
Wow, that was great. Oh my God. Now I've recorded this. We had the companion on here. Oh my God. Incredible, Patricia. Thank you so much. All right, so we recorded this and I'm going to transcribe it and turn it into a number of clips so that we can share it in a number of different ways. You know, the mass media world, there's the content creation and then the content distribution. And I want us to share this more widely than we ever have. And what I've been doing is through the website. So let me show you. Let's see if I go here. So if we go to Solstice Unites, I'm assuming you've seen this, right? This website links people to the articles so they can sign up. But the articles inside of One World. So like here, celebrate, synchronized ceremony. If I click on that, that takes people right to this article that we just worked on, right? So the website is like a front page for people that are new to the conversation. I'm going to go to the top. The global powwow, how to participate, find your path. So it's all here. Now, I want to encourage you to share it wherever you want. But I think you'll find this again, throughout these are links. So what I've been doing is emphasis on top of the text using bold, sometimes italicized, but then also these links, and then like a link to the article we just talked about, then has links within it to the Indigenous Ceremonial Change process, to you, Patricia, So there's a way that people are being able to come into the space, like how to participate is they can join online, or they can host a local ceremony. But on the top here, what we're also showing them to find their path means, hold on.
No, I haven't seen the page with the drum on it yet.
Okay, that's the home. Yeah. Okay, in here, it tells people how they can find their path. They can explore, learn more about what we're doing. They can express their interest. There's a supporter interest form for them to fill out. Or if they want to engage and step into the circle, that's where in One World, where all the articles are, and where they could get more involved here. And like I said, this article here is the one that we've been talking about, but I've shared with you some of these other articles as well. This one for me is very meaningful because it's saying, this is not indigenous knowledge, is not something of the past. And when the living, evolving way of being, people click on that, that takes them to the indigenous spirituality space. So again, my goal is to, let me go back to that. Yeah. I think if I go back, I can get to where I was.
So are we still on the recording?
Yeah. We could, we could stop the recording. I just wanted you to be aware of